In this lecture, we will learn about the DOM breakpoints. This itself is a question that what are DOM breakpoints and how do they function? DOM stands for Document Object Model, and every element in the web page is called the DOM node. This I have explained descriptively in a dedicated section on DOM and web. To break the execution in case of the DOM structure mutation or modification, we use the DOM breakpoints, where the DOM mutation can be subtree change, change in the attributes, or removal of nodes. Let us practically see these cases. A DOM breakpoint is set on a particular node or element. To put a DOM breakpoint, I will right-click on the element, I will select Inspect, and its code gets highlighted here in the Elements panel. Let me right-click on it. Now hover on the Break On option, which shows the three types of DOM breakpoints that we can select as per our requirement. The blue dot on the side shows that the breakpoint is set. The first type, that is subtree modification breakpoint, will be triggered whenever there are changes like adding, moving, or removing the child nodes. That is modification in the subtree. In this code, there is a button that will add a child node on the click event. Going to the browser, I will right-click on this and select Inspect. It is highlighted here, and now I am setting the subtree modification breakpoint. In this side navigation here, clicking on the DOM breakpoints shows the state of it before and after triggered. And let me click on Add Node so the subtree modification breakpoint is triggered. In the debugging pane, it shows the call stack and the enabled state, that is subtree modified. So the debugger pauses when there is a modification in the subtree, resuming the execution, and a child node is added. So this is how subtree modification breakpoints work. To remove the breakpoint, you can deselect or simply right-click and remove it. Moving on to the second type, that is to break on attribute modifications, implies that the debugger pauses when there are changes in the attributes of the node or elements. The attributes of this paragraph change when I click these buttons. Let me expand these divisions to set a breakpoint. Right-clicking and selecting the attribute modification option, and it is set. Now as soon as I click on this button, the debugger pauses as the attribute of the selected element has changed. Let us resume and see. Similarly, when I click on bold and also on reset, the debugger pauses. So attribute modification breakpoint is triggered when the attributes of the selected element change. The third one is the node removal, that pauses the execution when a selected element or node is removed. Let me go back to the first example. Now I click here to add a node, selecting this element. I will set a breakpoint and select node removal. So when I click on the added node to remove it, the breakpoint is triggered. I will resume the execution and the node is removed. This was all about how the DOM breakpoints work and help in debugging in relation to the DOM mutation.